Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you recall, a few months back I did a video showing off this box set right here. This is an Abbott and Costello Monsters VHS box set that I got off eBay a few months back, but back when this would have been new, it would have been sold through a company called Critics' Choice Video. So it's sort of one of those like magazine exclusive items. I don't think this would have been sold in regular video stores back in the day, so for all you in the VHS collecting community, you might not be that familiar with this set. I was familiar with it because over 20 years ago I saw it in a Critics' Choice catalog, and even then kind of wanted it, but for whatever reason didn't get it until finally a few months back, after years of scouring for it on the internet, somebody on eBay finally had one, and I finally got it, and that's when I did that other video. But elsewhere in that video I was also talking about another box set that was like Universal Monster related that apparently Critics' Choice Video sold at one point, that a few years back I almost got because somebody had a sealed one on eBay and I almost got it, and then somebody got to it before I did, and oh well, but I have one to show off today, so we'll talk about that. But before I do that, let me rewind back a little bit to the 90s when Universal were releasing all their Universal horror monster titles on VHS. So as part of that line of video releases, they had 3 box sets. The first box set had Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman, which okay, I get, because those are sort of the big 3, if you will, when it comes to Universal Monsters. I mean, if you had to narrow down Universal Monsters to 3 films, or at the very least 3 characters, that would probably be the 3 that would qualify for that. The second box set was a Creature from the Black Lagoon box set. Again, there's only 3 films of that character to pick from, so there you go. There's another box set. The third box set, which I also showed off in that other video I did, was a Mummy box set. Now, this was the box set that, in my opinion, was kind of the head scratcher of the 3 sets. And that was this box set right here. If you recall, I did show this off in that other video, but yeah, this was the Mummy box set. I have a sealed copy of it right here, but yeah. As you can see, the titles are The Mummy, The Mummy's Curse, and The Mummy's Ghost. Or technically the proper order would be The Mummy, The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Curse. But this was always the sort of head scratcher, if you will, of those 3 boxes. For no other reason being the fact that it just skips over 2 movies. I mean, yes, you could argue, okay, the original Mummy film technically didn't have a sequel, so it doesn't really matter what you jump to. And also you could say, well, it's a 3-pack, so obviously you're going to have to compromise it to some degree. Sure, but it just seems weird that you're just going to jump from one movie to 2 other movies that, by the way, are a continuation of the 2 other movies that this box set doesn't include, so it just seems weird. And yes, I know that the original Mummy film technically doesn't have a sequel, which it doesn't. It's technically a standalone movie, but it just, I don't know. This was always the sort of head scratcher of those 3 box sets. I just found it very bizarre that they would just skip over the 2 movies. If I was doing this box set, it would have been The Mummy, The Mummy's Hand, and The Mummy's Tomb. But as I talked about in that other video, apparently Critics' Choice Video did have a better alternative to this 3-pack at one point, and I'm here to show that off today. And that is this right here. As you can see, it's another Critics' Choice box set, pretty much the same kind of box set that the Abbott and Costello set is in. It's like pretty much an identical box, which I'm sure was probably the standard for Critics' Choice exclusive sets at the time. I mean, obviously they're not going to invest the time and money and resources to create fancy artwork for their boxes. I mean, unlike this, I mean, yes, I mean, you could argue that this is kind of a lazy packaging as well, because it's literally just the 3 VHS covers being replicated, but okay, so fine. I at least give this one points for its packaging. But again, this is like one of those like magazine exclusive items, so obviously you're not going to get fancy schmancy artwork with this. But as you can see, this one has the 5 Mummy films. Obviously they don't include Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, which I'm sure part of the reason was because that's already included in here in this Abbott and Costello set, and plus back during this time, this would have been when those Abbott and Costello titles were considered more part of the Abbott and Costello catalog of movies and not necessarily part of the Universal Monster catalog. But of the main series of Universal Monster films, as you can see, we have all 5 original Mummy films right here. We have The Mummy, Mummy's Hand, Mummy's Tomb, Mummy's Ghost, and The Mummy's Curse. All 5 in one set. So if you didn't want the 3-pack, if you were ordering through Critics' Choice Video, you technically had a better alternative. So just for fun, just like I did with this box set in that other video, I figured I'd show off each title. So here we are. We have The Mummy, the original with Boris Karloff. Good film. a little bit draggy compared to some of the other ones, but I mean, I've enjoyed it more over the years. Next one is The Mummy's Hand. This was always my personal favorite of the Mummy films. It's a little bit more of an adventurous film. Supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but this movie apparently had some bit of inspiration to Indiana Jones, which, I mean, if that's true, I could sort of see that. It has sort of that archaeological vibe to it, adventurous. Even the music at times has sort of an Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark feel to it, so I could definitely see that, but yeah. This was always my favorite of the Mummy films. Next one is The Mummy's Tomb, which, I mean, this one's okay. I mean, the Mummy films are sort of the series of films that I can sort of give or take some of them. Some of them are good, some of them are okay. I mean, I don't dislike any of them, but some of them are definitely better than others. I mean, this one's good. I mean, this is the one that I know gets a lot of flack because, like, the first, like, 10 minutes of them is just them recapping the events of the Mummy's Hand by literally just showing a bunch of scenes from the Mummy's Hand. It's just like, you know, you couldn't really just do that with somebody explaining, which they technically do anyway, because Dick Foran's character is basically telling the events, but rather than just showing him talk about it, they just skip the scenes from Mummy's Hand. So I sort of see why people might complain about that, but it's not a bad film. I mean, it is what it is. Next one is The Mummy's Ghost. Now, this and the last one here are sort of in the running for what I would feel are my least favorite of the Mummy films, but I mean, not enough that, like, I won't watch them. Like, I'll still watch this one from time to time, but just, I don't know. It has a bit of a downbeat ending, which is a rarity for, like, these films. Most of these have a typical happy ending, you know, monster gets killed off, the girl is reunited with her husband or boyfriend or whatever, and they live happily ever after. This one doesn't have that typical ending. I mean, I do give it credit for that, but I mean, overall, it's an okay film. And the last one, of course, The Mummy's Curse, which came out literally the same year as The Mummy's Ghost. Just to give an idea of how quickly and cheaply they were producing this film. This movie and The Mummy's Ghost all came out within the same year. And that's about it. I figure, you know, since I finally found one on eBay, obviously this wasn't a sealed one like the one I found a few years ago, but you know what, that's okay anyway, because I do remember the one that was sealed. The shrink wrap was partially torn, so odds are I would have ended up opening it anyway. So, but I just figured I'd just show this off just for fun, just because I just thought it was just kind of cool. Yes, I have this as a completion piece to the other box sets I have, but I mean, like, in terms of what it has to offer, if I had to choose between this and this, I definitely would have gone with this. So I just thought, definitely a cool piece, you know. Interesting to know that there were these sort of like catalog items that, you know, I mean, if you didn't want to go with certain alternatives, hey, there were technically other options. I don't know if they had other box sets based on Universal Monsters. There's definitely other ones they could have done. Maybe they could have done like an Invisible Man set, because I think there's about 5 films for that. They could have done that. Maybe done like a Frankenstein set, maybe like some of the Frankenstein sequels, like Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, and maybe some of those crossover films. I mean, there's definitely other box sets I could have done. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But it is interesting to see that they did have this at one point, as well as the Abbott and Costello set. So I just wanted to show that off real quick. Anyway, so I'm trying to get other videos filmed. I have 2 other ones I'm planning right now. It's just been difficult with my work schedule. Part of the reason I'm doing this video first is just because this one was just sort of a straightforward video I felt would be kind of short and sweet and to the point. So I just wanted to show that off real quick. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing okay out there. Check in soon for more stuff. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching.